Welcome to the Rockabye Revenue Podcast with me, Abby Watson. I'm a mum of 4 and a business strategist, and I train people to become hypnobirthing teachers. In the last decade, I've built a thriving baby business that grew beyond my wildest dreams. This podcast is for you if you run a business or dream of running a business in the birth and baby industry. You want to change lives whilst making more money. I'm talking about creating sustainable income whilst being present for the people that matter most. I believe for our baby businesses to have the impact we desire, we must be rewarded. On this podcast, expect me to share actionable strategies without the jargon. I've been where you are. I've built a business while raising 4 little ones, and now I'm here to help you turn your passion into profit while creating the life you've always dreamed of. So let's get started. Hello, lovely one. I am so grateful that you've joined me for another episode of Rockabye Revenue Podcast. Now, today we are talking about something that I really care about, actually, because I know when we come into this world of being a baby business owner, we are welcomed into a world of constant Instagram, social media tips. This is what you should be doing. That's what you shouldn't be doing. And my goodness, it can feel totally overwhelming. And for those of us that don't view ourselves as very technological, my gosh, it can be even more overwhelming. So today we are talking about Instagram strategies that actually work, timeless strategies over trends. We are not talking about what's in at the moment, you know? We're not talking about the next trend you need to get on top of. And I'm not saying that we should ignore trends. What I'm talking about is that there are some real key things that always work, that always make a difference, whether dancing on Instagram is in fashion or whether lip syncing is in fashion. There are some real key tactics that always make a difference. Now, I've got to admit, I absolutely do have a social media presence, a strong social media presence. I am not somebody that jumps on the trends. I'm not. I'm totally not. I find what works and I stick with it. And I know that trends come and go. And I also know that some trends do give us that feeling of, oh, look, I've got this many likes. People are sharing it. People are loving it. But is it actually resulting in bookings? You know? And you know, we are here on this podcast to talk about the things that are going to make your business a success. So we're talking about the timeless tactics today. So are you ready? Firstly, I want you to think about how you need to create a recognizable presence. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is you want people eventually to see a post and know it's from your business. You know? Doesn't mean it has to be in all your brand colours. It doesn't mean that all your posts have to be super samey, but actually they learn your vibe and they start recognizing what is from you. And yeah, branding might have a little bit to do with that. The colours that you use, the font that you use, but it is more than that. I mean, let's face it, one of the simplest ways of making your content recognisable is having a blooming picture of you on it, you know? We remember faces more than anything else. So using yourself as the face of your business makes a lot of sense. Now, I know for some people this comes with all sorts of feelings of, oh my gosh, that's so cringe. I don't even post on my personal profile, never mind putting photos of me on my business page. I get it. I totally get it. It can be scary. We can think all sorts of things. We can think, oh, let's just wait until I've had my hair done. Let's wait until I've lost weight. Let's wait for this. I know this because I've said things like that to myself before. What I know is when we are showing up in any of our marketing, including social media, we are showing up as that business owner, as that service provider. So how you would show up for your clients is how you want to show up on social media too, so that they get this feel for you, you know? So maybe with your clients, you wouldn't worry about whether you looked perfect or not, you know? Maybe that can help you feel a little bit more confident being visible on your social media too. So we're talking here about being recognizable. So I know many baby business owners love Canva. Give me a shout if you also love Canva. Canva, if you don't know, is a place where you can go and you can create graphics, you can create reels, you can create all sorts of stuff for social media, but also loads of other places too. Okay. I wish Canva had been around when I first started my business. We didn't have access to easy software where you could create like text on images and that kind of thing at all. I sound like a real dinosaur, don't I? I sound like I created my business in the Victorian times. I didn't. But literally 9-10 years ago, technology like Canva just wasn't available to the average Joe like me, So it is fantastic. It really is. However, the downside is we get drawn in to all the fabulous templates, the colour combinations, and ultimately as a result, we stop sticking to what we have decided is our brand because we get bored of it, We're like, oh, I've been posting turquoise, backgrounds for too long now. I think I'm going to go with purple, And immediately we're not recognizable, So sticking with the branding that you have chosen and not getting swept up into all the different beautiful things on Canva is really helpful. And I tell you what, it's also going to save you a shed load of time as well, which is super, super important. In terms of showing your face, showing you, okay, I get that this is scary. However, think about it from your perspective as a buyer for me for a moment. If you was going to invest in mentoring, life coaching, maybe even counselling, fitness instructor, would you be someone who'd have a little nosy at them? I know I would. Absolutely would. I'd have a little look at them. Not because I'm judging what they look like, but I'm like, oh, are they normal? Whatever, not that I'm normal, but you know what I mean? What are they like? Are they a real human? If we do that, so do clients. But the benefit of regularly using your image on social media is that you quickly become recognizable to those potential clients. When they feel familiar with you, they are so much more likely to book. So as much as, it might be a trend to have more text-heavy posts, I tell you what, having posts that is a picture of you, that is a timeless tactic that never goes out of style. Second thing I want to talk about, which really does relate to what we've talked about so far, you being recognizable, but it's taking it a step further. I tell you what, never goes out of fashion and never stops really converting potential clients to actual clients. It's storytelling, telling them stories. And maybe those stories are from your life, So if you're a sleep consultant, maybe you went into it because you really struggled understanding your own child's sleep patterns. And you really thought that you were doing something wrong, and you spent all night Googling and on Mumsnet questioning yourself. And then actually when you learned more about sleep, you realised that a lot of what was going on was really normal. Tell that story, because that's the story that's relatable. You tell a story, it's engaging, We don't tell our kids stories on a night as a coincidence. We do it because it grabs attention. It focuses them on something. Stories are memorable. Stories are said to be 200 times more memorable than facts alone. And we love a story. It entertains us, it engages us, and it sticks. And when we're listening to a story, whether it's on camera or whether it's written, we often find the elements that are similar to us. So we feel this deep connection. So really think about, on your Instagram, where can you share stories that are going to connect with your potential clients? If you're a hypnobirthing teacher, perhaps you want to tell a story about a client that you worked with, and that client had almost ruled hypnobirthing out because they thought it were just for certain types of births, But yet they felt totally like they were burying their head in the sand because they felt so unprepared for birth. But they didn't think hypnobirthing was for them because they weren't planning a candlelit pool birth. But luckily, she reached out to you and you explained exactly how hypnobirthing will benefit her. And you tell that story. There's stories in everything. If you're a hypnobirthing teacher, you might tell a story about the mind-body connection. It might be something from your everyday life, like what happens to you when you think about things you're afraid of. Telling connects. Storytelling is memorable. And that emotional connection that your potential clients get means they are so much more likely to trust and then book your services. Simple. The next thing I want to talk about, and I know this term is thrown around all over the place when we talk about marketing using social media. It's important though, and it never goes out of style. And that is being consistent. What do I mean by being consistent? Do not mean spending your life on Instagram. No way. I do not mean posting every day, even. What I mean is not going through a phase of posting loads and loads and loads and then going silent for 6 months. Because to tell you what someone will think, they'll land on your page and they'll think, oh, is she even offering services? Right? So even if you get a surge of inspiration and you're like, I'm on a roll and producing loads of content, and you feel as eager as a beaver to post it all out right away, remember the you in a week that might not feel that surge of motivation. Do yourself a favour and schedule that content. And you know what? You might schedule literally 1 post a week. That doesn't mean that's all you need to have going out. If inspiration strikes and you want to post something else, you can, but you know that there is this consistent presence happening. People know you are still there. I used to resist batching and scheduling big time. I used to tell myself, oh, what I write is only valuable in the moment. So if I try and sit down and write a post for 3 weeks' time, it's just not going to have the same feeling. It's not going to be as good. And that's going to mean that my, social media is just not as good as it has been. So I resisted it massively. And my goodness, why was I making my day-to-day life so much harder? Like feeling like I had to sit, waiting for my kids on the school run, creating a post. That wasn't a strike of inspiration. That was me feeling pressured because I hadn't posted for a long time. These days, I take time to create content, and I never just create one piece of content. While I'm on a roll, I create several pieces of content. And really frequently, when I am doing that content creation, I take myself away from my home. You'll usually find me at Starbucks with a cappuccino, no chocolate sprinkles. I don't agree with chocolate in hot drinks. I'm sorry, I know that's controversial. But you'll find me there, and you'll find me creating a few weeks of social media content that will then be scheduled. I look like I'm on social media, but actually I've done it in advance. Utilizing that makes sure you have that consistency and people know that your business is still there. And it also means that you are really forward planning and thinking about what's coming up in my business. Oh, I better talk about that. If we're in the moment, we often don't have the context. We don't think about what might be coming up in a few weeks' time. We just kind of like throwing ourselves into it and thinking, oh, what can I talk about today? So consistency and utilising, batching and scheduling. It never goes out of style. Next thing I want to talk about are really timeless tactics that actually help you get clients rather than just help you get likes is utilising social proof. What on earth do I mean by that? What I mean is evidence that other people think what you do is good. Yes, you're banging the drum for what you offer. You know it's good. You're communicating that to potential clients. But showing things like screenshots of testimonials, birth stories if you work in the birth world, using things like that show potential clients that actually you are the real deal. You are making an impact to other people. Okay. Now, I know there'll be people listening to this and they're like, oh, I'm only just starting out, or I've just added this other string to my bow, so I haven't actually got any testimonials or feedback from that thing. Well, think about, could you get some social proof, some testimonials about the thing that you offer rather than your service particularly? So for example, if you're a hypnobirthing teacher, maybe you've just trained and you haven't got any clients right now, okay? But maybe you know that your friend did hypnobirthing in pregnancy. So you ask your friend to give you some words about what hypnobirthing meant for them, okay? Ask if you can share them. You're not pretending that is specifically about you, but you are providing this social proof that hypnobirthing or whatever it is that you offer is fabulous. Really, really, really useful. Now, the thing to know about things like testimonials, okay, is that you probably won't get 100 likes on a testimonial post. You probably won't get loads of comments saying, love this post. Yeah? And I know sometimes that can make us feel like maybe what I've done is not working. But remember, likes and comments mean very little. If you're not getting bookings, it means really little. So yes, someone might see that testimonial post, that snippet of someone's birth story, that snippet of how they found your class, and they might read it and it might provide them that reassurance that, oh, my thoughts about doing this course, yeah, they might be sound thoughts. Yeah, I think I might trust myself and enroll, sign up, join that course, might get in touch with her about her one-to-ones. So it might do that, but it probably won't make them like and comment. But what would you rather? What would you rather happened on your social media? Would you rather you got loads of likes and comments, or would you rather you got messages in your inbox asking you about your services? I know what I'd prefer. You can flipping go on to my Instagram account for my training business. I train people to be hypnobirthing teachers. There are posts that I put out that get very little engagement visibly, you know? So you could look at how many likes they've got and, you know, you could probably count on one hand some of them. But that post might have had a sign up to one of my free events. It might have meant a message that then went on and someone signed up to be a hypnobirthing teacher with me. It's what matters, not what it looks like to everybody else. And let this be your reminder that those people that you are putting on a pedestal and you are thinking, oh my gosh, they've got it right. Look at how much engagement they get. Do you really know how many bookings they're getting, how much they're earning, how this is translating to actual impact, you know? That's what matters. So utilising that social proof. And this really leads us on to really thinking about what you are inviting people to do on your Instagram page. So really thinking about what is known as call to actions, what you are calling them to act upon, what you are asking them to do on the back of your content. You want to have a plan, you know? And by plan, I don't mean that you sit there thinking and writing and, you know, having a plan that then, you know, you pop in a drawer and you never look at. Because let's face it, sometimes that happens with plans. We spend so much time planning, we don't take action. What I'm saying is you make a decision where you want people to go from your Instagram account. You know? So are you inviting them to a taster event? Or are you inviting them to your Monday group class? Or are you inviting them to get on the phone with you to find out more about the service? Decide where you are sending them, what you want them to do. Because when we tell people and make it clear what we want them to do, they are so much more likely to do it. Make things easy for them. You know what social media is like, you know? There you are, scrolling away, get distracted by something else. The clearer we can make it, the more obvious we can make it, where we want people to go and what we want them to do, and the less steps involved in that as possible, the more bookings you will get. Absolutely. So I would absolutely love to know what your number one key takeaway has been from this episode. Do come over to my Instagram account, especially as we're talking about Instagram strategies. You'll find me at loveyourbirth_training and come and tell me, come and send me a DM. what your biggest takeaway has been from this episode. And I will look forward to seeing you on another episode of the Rockabye Revenue podcast. See you next time. Bye. Thank you for listening to Rockabye Revenue. I hope this episode has left you with some fresh ideas and bundles of motivation. If you enjoyed this episode, do make sure you click subscribe so you never miss an installment. And if you found this episode useful, I'd love you forever if you leave a 5-star review, helping this podcast reach the ears of more of the helpers in this world. And remember, keep changing lives. See you next time.